Have you ever felt like an imposter in your own skin? It's not because you lack competence. It's because for the last 30 years, you've been trying to run your life on an operating system that wasn't built for you. As Gen X, we were raised as the original latchkey kids. We were taught to be fiercely independent, resilient, and loud. To succeed in the corporate climb of the 90s and 2000s, the world told us to lean in, to dominate the boardroom, and to network until our social batteries were in the red. But for an introverted woman in her late 40s or 50s, that feels like trying to fuel an electric car with leaded gasoline. It's draining. It leads to a specific kind of soul-deep burnout. And here is the most important realization: it is no longer necessary. Welcome to the newest chapter of your life, where silence is no longer a flaw to be fixed, but a strategic asset. Today, we aren't talking about how to fit in. We're talking about how to dominate quietly through the M-shaped expert model, a framework designed for the Gen X introvert who is finally ready to reclaim her energy. Gen X is the bridge generation. We are the last to know the world before the internet and the first to master it. For an introverted woman, this transition was a painful contradiction. We grew up in the solitude of quiet afternoons, waiting for our parents to get home from work. That solitude didn't make us lonely. It made us observant. You learned to read the room before you even entered it. You saw the subtle shifts in body language. You heard the things that weren't being said. But when we hit the workforce in the era of the devil wears Prada, American culture demanded we bury those gifts. You've spent half your life performing extroversion. You wore that mask at the office, at PTA meetings, and at suburban dinner parties. Now, at Gen Z, the tax on that mask has become too high. Here is the logic. Neuroscience tells us that an introvert's brain has a longer neural pathway for processing stimuli. We process information through the areas of the brain associated with long-term memory and complex planning. You aren't slow to respond. You are deep in your processing. It is time to stop apologizing for your silence. A Gen X introvert doesn't need to speak louder to be heard. She just needs to choose the right frequency to broadcast on. Why do I propose the M-shaped model instead of the traditional T-shape or I-shape career paths? By the time you reach 45, you have already built the first pillar of the M-deep expertise. This is decades of cumulative knowledge in your field, whether that's management, healthcare, the arts, or the complex logistics of running a household. The second pillar of the M is your resilience. As Gen X, we've survived economic crashes, the total disruption of technology, and personal upheavals. We don't break easily, but the magic happens in the V, in the middle of the M, the bridge. This is the power of intentional silence. An M-shaped expert doesn't try to be an expert everywhere. She practices selective excellence. She chooses deep work over busy work. In the U.S. right now, there is a massive cultural shift happening called the quiet ambition. Women in their 50s are walking away from noisy, high-stress management roles to become consultants, authors, or independent creators. Why? Because they realize that in a world drowning in white noise, the person who possesses focus and critical thinking, the hallmarks of the introvert, is the person who holds the highest market value. The M represents balance. It doesn't ask you to be a lonely tower. It offers a sturdy foundation of two pillars, connected by a quiet, calculating mind. Let's be real. Gen X women are currently the sandwich generation. We are pinned between caring for aging parents and supporting our nearly adult children. For an introvert, this pressure is doubled. The noise isn't just external, it's a noise of responsibility. The authenticity here is acknowledging that you don't have to be the perfect mother or the dutiful daughter by social media standards. An introvert requires a quiet sanctuary, a literal and mental space where no one asks anything of you. Your strategy at this age is selective availability. Have you ever felt guilty for not answering a text immediately? Stop. Have you ever felt behind because you aren't chasing the latest TikTok trend? Stop. The logic is simple. Your energy is a finite resource. The most successful Gen X introverts are those who have mastered the art of saying no to the should-dos so they can say yes to the must-dos. The ultimate luxury at 50 isn't a designer bag. It's the right to be silent without having to explain why. There is a massive misconception that to have influence, you must be seen. This channel is proof of the opposite. You are listening to me. You see my hands at work, but you don't need to see my face to trust my words. This is the era of faceless authority. If you are a Gen X introvert with a business idea, a book in your heart, or a desire to share your wisdom, don't let the fear of being famous stop you. The world is starving for authenticity. People are exhausted by filtered faces and corporate smiles. They want to hear the voice of experience. They want to see the hands of a practitioner. Use the M-shaped model to package your value. Use your silence to filter out the nonsense. And use your Gen X grit to play the long game. You don't need to be an extrovert to lead. In fact, history shows that the most formidable leaders are often those who listen far more than they speak. Age 45 or 60 is not the sunset of your career. For the introverted woman, it is the dawn of your freedom. You've spent half your life trying to understand the world. Now is the time for the world to understand the value of your silence. Don't try to fix your personality. Instead, fix your environment so it respects your quiet. If you saw yourself in today's story, leave a small sign in the comments, perhaps just a leaf emoji, or the phrase, "I choose the quiet." We are a community that doesn't need noise to stay connected. In our next video, I'll be sharing the 5 specific steps to building a quiet work ecosystem designed specifically for the Gen X woman. Keep your mind peaceful. It is where your greatest power resides. Thank you for being here in this quiet space with me.